time when media talks about Al-Aqsa, they showed this picture. You know why they show you this? Because Rock of Dome, not Aqsa Mosque. This is the real Aqsa Mosque. Why every time when media talks about Al-Aqsa, they showed this picture. You know why they show you this? Because Israel wants to destroy real Aqsa Mosque silently, and will show you the picture of Rock of Dome saying Al-Aqsa is safe, like nothing happened here. And after this activity, they will build the third temple. Jews believes third temple should be built to establish the condition of Messianic age. Now, what is Messianic age? It is said by Jews and Zionists that there is a period of time will come in which their awaited Messiah will come and he will unite the whole world. Israel is doing this for their awaited Messiah. In Christianity, they say him, the Antichrist, and in Islam, we say him, the Dajjal. You see this open area? It is called Al-Aqsa compound. There are 5 important places here. First, Masjid al-Qibli. Second, Dome of the Rock. Third, Masjid al-Buraq. Fourth, Musalla Marwani. And fifth, minarets. This is the real Aqsa Mosque. Spread this truth so that every Muslim will know which one is real Aqsa Mosque.
Okay, this is the real Al-Aqsa Mosque. Okay, we will study this in a previous class, and we said Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is our belief in Islam. This is the third mosque which our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to us. We will travel to 3 mosques in Islam. The first is Al-Baytul Haram, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Mecca, and the second is the house of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Al-Medina, and this is the third one, Al-Masjid al-Aqsa in Al-Quds, Jerusalem in Palestine. Okay, and this Al-Masjid al-Aqsa, the first direction for Muslims before Al-Kaaba. Then the direction is turned to Al-Kaaba, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, now let's continue the second part of Al-Masjid al-Aqsa. Okay. Here. After we know Al-Masjid al-Aqsa is consists of Al-Masjid al-Qabali, Al-Masjid, the Dome of the Rock, and the minarets, and the Buraq wall, and the Al-Marwani Mosque. Okay, now let's know the crucial occupation. Crucial occupation. When did Salahuddin regain Baytul Maqdis to Muslims? Sorry. Okay, here the Crusader occupied Al-Quds in 493 after Hijrah, 1099. Stay about 19 years. Bloodshed, poor people, women or children, profane and activity and security killed about 70,000 of Muslims. When did Crusaders occupy Al-Quds? What did the Crusader do with Al-Quds holies? They get rid of the holies and treated with Al-Aqsa Mosque as headquarters and made it a warehouse, as they turned Al-Aqsa Mosque into a church placed a cross on its dome instead of crescent. They also used to They also used the crypts that found under the mosque as suitable for horses. The leader Salahuddin al-Ayyubi. Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, this is a Muslim character who's regained al-Mosque, Al-Aqsa Mosque to Muslims. When did Salahuddin regain Baytul Maqdis to Muslims? Crusaders kept occupied Al-Quds until Salahuddin regained its on 26 Rajab 583 after Hijrah 1187. What did Salahuddin do? What did Salahuddin do to restore Al-Aqsa Mosque as it was? Let's know now. Salahuddin thought of a pulpit worthy of Al-Aqsa Mosque, but he knew that when Sultan Muhammad Nur decided to conquer Al-Quds, he had asked the craftsmen in Aleppo to set up a pulpit worthy of Al-Aqsa Mosque, but he died. So when Salahuddin conquered Al-Quds, ordered that the pulpit should be brought from Aleppo, but the Jews burned it. Salahuddin had inspected the buildings of Al-Aqsa Mosque, found that Crusaders have built an altar above the rock itself, felt it was statues, so he ordered to sap it and restore the place as an Islamic mosque. After that, Al-Aqsa Mosque and the call of the prophets. This is the real picture for Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is Al-Aqsa Mosque. This is the whole tour. Okay. Al-Aqsa Mosque represents the history of monotheism brought by all prophets, and which Islam was the last of its links. Islam is the religion of all prophets. Islam is the religion of all prophets, and which Islam was the last of its links. Islam is the religion of all prophets, and all the prophets and messengers who were sent to the children of Israel or other nations. Their religion is Islam. Their message is Islam, and their call is monotheism. So their followers who believe in them are Muslims. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said on the tongue of Nuh, peace be upon him, for his people, and if you turn away from my advice, then no payment have I asked of you. My reward is only from Allah, and I have been commanded to be of the Muslims. This is in Surah Yunus, ayah number 17. Allah also said, and Ibrahim instructed his sons Yaqub, saying, O my sons, indeed Allah have chosen for you this religion, so don't die except while you are Muslims. This is the meaning for ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah in 132 in Surah Al-Baqarah. Here, Al-Aqsa Mosque is a great scientific institution. Al-Aqsa Mosque has been an important center for the teaching of an Islamic science all over the ages, and one of the largest institutes of science over the Islamic world. It's the first Islamic institution in Palestine. This institution is called Al-Jami'a Al-Islamiyya, Al-Jami'atul Islamiyya, and their theologians were keen from the beginning to travel to Al-Aqsa Mosque for praying and spread knowledge. Among the most prominent of the companions who settled in Jerusalem and died there, Ubaydah ibn as-Samit and Shaddad ibn Aus, may Allah be pleased with them. Al-Aqsa restoration, the reason for the delay in repair work. So, in the 20th century and in the era of the British mandate from 1948, The Supreme Islamic Council in Palestine was supervising the scientists of Jerusalem. But as soon as this reconstruction took place, the country was hit by an earthquake in 1927 AD. After that, which damaged Al-Aqsa Mosque, so a committee was formed to carry out the restoration process. The restoration and maintenance work was disrupted after the 1967 Jewish occupation due to the obstacles that were placed in the way of constructors and architects. After Britain adopted this Zionist project by canceling the rights of the people of Palestine in their land and replacing them in issued in November 1917. The Balfour Declaration to establish a national home for the Jewish in Palestine and was able to complete its occupation of Palestine in September 1918 and incorporated the Balfour Declaration into its mandate over Palestine that the League of Nations decided for it in July. Jerusalem under occupation. This titled by Jerusalem under occupation. Jerusalem under occupation during Britain's occupation of Palestine in 1918. 1948, the gates were opened for Jewish immigration, and the number of Jews doubled to 6,046 in 1948. After this, it's also supported land ownership, so the ownership of the land increased by Jews. Under the protection of British pioneers, the Jews were able to build their economic, political, educational, and military institutions, and in the year 1948, after this, they had established 282 colonies and formed a military force of more than 70,000 fighters and prepared to declare their state. Here, this is the map for Palestine. Okay. Do you know what had happened in the evening of May 14, 1848? After this, the Zionists declared their state of Israel after they managed to defeat the Arab armies and the Zionists seized 77% of the land of Palestine and the forced supply displaced 800,000 Palestinians outside the area on which they established their entity. Jerusalem under occupation. Thus, the Jews occupied West Jerusalem in the 48th war. It wasn't long before the Zionist entity in the June 1967 war defeated the Arab regimes once for in a few days. The entity occupied the rest of Palestine and the West Bank fell, including East Jerusalem and the Gaza Strip. Then it was officially announced on July 30 that Jerusalem is the eternal capital of the Jewish entity. That's wrong. That's wrong. Jerusalem is the capital of Palestine. This is the truth. The Jews were not satisfied with that, but they set fire to Al-Aqsa Mosque. We have a question here. When was Al-Aqsa Mosque burned? What is the story of it? Let's know the story of burning Al-Aqsa Mosque. Let's get to know the story of the burning of Al-Aqsa Mosque. At dawn on Thursday, August 21, 1969, Muslims in East Jerusalem woke up to the sound of the takbir through the minarets at an unusually early time. Soon, the news spread about a fire in Al-Aqsa Mosque. The tongues of flame came over the mihrab and the pulpit of Salah ad-Din, of Salah ad-Din, which are among the prominent features of Al-Aqsa Mosque. The burned area of Al-Aqsa Mosque reached more than a third of its total area, and the fire caused great damage to the building of Al-Aqsa Mosque, its pillars, and its old decoration. The roof of the mosque fell to the ground as a result of the burning. This is big accident. They claim they claim that they inherited the prophets of God, Ibrahim, Ishaq, Jacob, Yaqub, David, Dawood, and Solomon, peace be upon them. The Jews disbelieved in Allah and refused to acknowledge his divinity and lordship and said, "We heard and we disobeyed," and attributed to Allah a birth of a son. Allah Almighty said, the Jews say Israel is the son of Allah, and the Christians say the Messiah is the son of Allah. That is their statement from their mouths. They imitate the saying of those who disbelieved before them. May Allah destroy them. How are they deluded? But Muslims tell them they are from the lineage of Jacob, Israel, peace be upon him, and that is why they call their entity Israel. They claim. But Muslims tell them that their claim is a lie and slander, because Jacob, peace be upon him, is a Muslim prophet. The Almighty said, and Ibrahim instructed his sons to do the same. And so did Jacob, saying, "Oh, my sons, indeed Allah
مش
subhanahu wa
مفتوحة
ta'ala
بابا،
has
مفتوحة اليوم
chosen."
بتنك.
Okay. So, and Ibrahim instructed his sons to do the same, and so did Jacob, saying, "Oh, my sons, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for you this religion, so don't die except while you are Muslims." This is the meaning for ayah 132 in Surah Al-Baqarah. So, the Al-Jid temple. Do the Jews know the location of Solomon's temple as they claim? No. None of the researchers has been able to determine the location of the temple in an unequivocal way to this day. So, the question here, why do the Jews not know the exact location of their sun cities and they differ and don't agree in that. Why the Muslims know the locations of their sun cities in Mecca, Al-Medina, and Bayt al-Maqdis, and no two differ in that. Why?
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. What did the Jews prepare for the demolition of Al-Aqsa? Why? The answer in the video which we seen in the beginning of the class. Here, making miniature models of the alleged temple and the Jewish organization and groups distribute these models inside the outside Palestine in order to gain financial and more moral support and sympathy. Here, I combine to distribute impressionist posters and drawings to Jewish schools and university students embodying the alleged temple. A conference was held in the city of Jerusalem to prepare the guard and priests who will supervise the temple once it's established. It's okay? Do you understand for this point? Are you attention with me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Number one, the Jews established the Jewish temple or the synagogue in and around the Al-Aqsa Mosque and opened it on March 13, 2006. They built facilities at the bottom and around the Al-Aqsa Mosque to be places of worship, museums, and shrines for the Jews of the world and the Cubers in Palestine for some time and then announced it. Number two, during the opening, the head of the Zionist entity at the time demanded the implementations of a plan to connect to the two sides of the road that starts from the bottom of the Al-Buraq wall and ends in the Silwan neighborhood adjacent to the southern wall of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Number three, the site is continuation of the Al-Buraq wall and an integral part of the western wall of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. The site consists of wide arches and a wide courtyard that constitutes a wonderful model of Islamic architectural construction. Now, the Jews perform prayers and carry the books of the Torah around courtyard. The Jews are gradually taking over the interior region and are changing the Islamic landmarks day by day, and perhaps these are the first steps for building the alleged temple. The Jews built a museum called You and I in the convoy of generations under the Al-Aqsa Mosque and in its surroundings, and it's adjacent to the Buraq wall. The foundation of Al-Aqsa are in danger. In the excavation, the Jews used chemical acids placed on the rocks to break them up. The danger of these acids on the foundations of Al-Aqsa Mosque is very great because it transmitted to these foundations through rainwater and moisture, which leads to cracking the columns of Al-Aqsa. The excavations currently underway under the blessed Al-Aqsa Mosque are extremely dangerous. The Jews replaced the Arabic names and they turned the mosques into synagogues. One of the methods of destruction and forgery in the city is to work on removing and obliterating the remains of Arab villages and using their stones to build Jewish settlements as they avoid building with reinforced constraint in order for visitors to imagine that this wall was built hundreds of years ago, and in order to work on reusing these monuments in the installation of a false Jewish history. The method of the Jewish to seize the lands. Land consolidation, destroying and closing houses, imposing expensive taxes. Land consolidation, it means that these lands fall under the laws of the Jewish administration and the restriction are imposed on the people or living in Jerusalem in constructions, in addition to controlling the lands by force and expropriating them from their original owners. This is the first one, or first step. Destroying and closing houses. Destroying many of the houses that the Palestinians are living in it and closing their homes and keep it empty and displacing of its inhabitants and housing Jewish settlers there instead. Imposing expensive taxes. It's imposed on citizens and that is exceeded their standard of living to become unable to pay for it, and the Jewish forces then confiscate furniture, homes, institutions, and real estates. Do you know the story of Al-Maghriba Gate? Al-Maghriba were taking their journeys to Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa from the first centuries of Hijrah, and when they became more in numbers after Salahuddin's recovery of Bayt al-Maqdis, then the king Nur al-Din Ali, son of Salahuddin, intended to give them the lands surrounding the Burak wall to Maghriba tribe. And since the end of the 6th century after Hijrah, it was known as Al-Maghriba, the Maghriba District, and those people said that time has a strong attachment to Jerusalem. In the first 10 years of the British Mandate, the Zionists made several attempts to seize the wall and the Maghriba region, and it was settled on the land after 4 days of occupying Jerusalem. Where the Jewish bulldozers headed to the Maghribi part inside the walls of Jerusalem and demolished it completely, displacing 135 Muslim families, and also blew up another 34 houses nearby and a plastic factory, displacing 300 residents and workers. And it became cast a memory in our minds after it was an Islamic endowment. And the Jews now call it Al-Mubki, Al-Mubki Square after they destroy the history of an Islamic endowment land. Do you know the story of the red cow? What is the red cow? Red cow, it's a cow that Jews think that it's a sah after being burned was being used in cleaning sinks and people that became unclean due to touching the dead bodies or their tools. How can they become clean with? They use some particular rituals and tools for burning the cow, and the red cow's ashes be used in cleaning the Jews, starting from the priest, okay, who wash his clothes and clean himself by its ashes, for they think that all Jews are unclean, and they think that entering Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa is a sin and the prohibited matter without being clean using the ashes of the red cow. Let's wonder how the Jews since their inception until the present time and their successive generations have died because of uncleanness, and that their sins are not expiated until now. Is one cow enough for nearly 5 million Jews in Palestine to distribute its ashes to them? And if it's enough, how is these ashes be distributed? How? Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa is back to us, inshallah. This is our hope, our wish. It will return to us, and the fighting of Jews will undoubtedly happen, and Muslims will destroy the Antichrist and those with him from among the Jews. The Messenger of Allah said, "The last hour will not come until the Muslims fight against the Jews, until a Jew will hide himself behind a stone or a tree, and the stone or the tree will say, 'Oh Muslim, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him.' But Al-Gharqad tree will not say so, for it's the tree of the Jews." This is the end of the story of Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa. Now, do you know the real story and the truth for Al-Masjid Al-Aqsa?
Yes.
You understand it?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's great, mashallah.
My friend told me so much about Masjid Al-Aqsa.
What do you say?
My friend told me so much about Masjid Al-Aqsa.